Welcome to Snarkmarks, everybody. We are a very funny podcast out of the Central Valley of California. I'm Andrew. That's Dusty.
Hey.
Follow us on social medias at Snarkmarks Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Dusty's on Twitter at SnarkmarkD. I am on Instagram at AndroidDell. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're putting a lot of cool stuff up there. I was hoping to get the UFC 300 preview out as a video, and I don't know why I'm telling you that because I didn't do that. My apartment flooded. So, we talked about that last week.
Think about how cool that video would be, though.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yes.
And it's in the last podcast, so just listen to that shit. You know what I mean? So, Dusty, I said that I wanted to start because there's a reason I want to start. Before this, I went to Burger King. I was in a hurry.
Oh, my friend.
Yeah. So
tell me your tale of woe.
So, well, first of all, I went the Dusty route, got a little bit of a treat, went a little bit outside the norm. I got onion rings.
Look at you. Hey, proud of you.
I appreciate that. They were fine. Okay. Onion rings, unless you have really good onion rings. Some people have really good onion rings, so I'm not shitting on those. Not convenience store, fast food onion rings. I don't have one because I ate them all. I need 2 of them. Then get me back to the French fries. So I like when there's like a couple straggler onion rings in your thing of French fries.
Yeah.
But I was over the onion rings by the time I finished the onion rings. But the reason that I brought up the fact that I went to Burger King, Dusty, we both have something that we love a lot to get at Burger King. Can you guess what that is? Because we've talked about it before.
Oh. A thing at Burger King that I love to get?
Yeah. What's the thing to get at Burger King?
Double Whopper?
Chicken fries, Dusty.
Oh, chicken fries. Of course. A little bit of chicken fries.
What's wrong with you, dude?
Yeah.
So I got chicken fries.
Yeah.
The last time I went to Burger King, this was like 2 weeks ago. I got chicken fries. I got the 8-piece chicken fries. They gave me 6 chicken fries. I was going to talk about it on the podcast. Forgot to. Okay.
Yep.
This time, I get the 8-piece chicken fries. I get 8 chicken fries. But Dusty, and sorry for the people who don't have visual, we'll explain it in a second. This right here, your standard chicken fry, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good sized chicken fry.
Yeah.
Not one you're going to complain about. It's there's no anomalies. Not an anomalous chicken fry, right?
No.
This
pretty
one,
standard.
also counted as a chicken fry.
Uh-huh.
If that's half that size, that's barely half. And I'm looking at it right now. I don't think it's half.
No, that's about a third.
This chicken fry.
Yeah.
About exactly the size of my pinky. Hold up your pinky. I've got a long pinky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine getting a chicken fry like that.
That chicken fry looks like it cried wee 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 all the way home.
Yeah. Now I'm going to eat them because I've been waiting to start the podcast to finish my chicken fries. I had to have the visual.
Right. Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I have given up on Burger King. Never again, I say. I won't go back. Even as a fast food connoisseur, I don't know that there's an item, unless Burger King flips the whole shit on its head and comes out with like some new game changer for how we do fast food hamburgers. Never again. It's never very good. Always makes my stomach hurt. I do love an onion ring. I like an onion ring from a fast, casual place that's a little more like it wants to be upscale, like The Habit. It's still fast food. It's still a fast food burger, but like their onion rings are pretty good.
I got to do an onion ring tour because I'm wholly unfamiliar. I never get them.
The move used to be at Burger King. They had what was called a rodeo cheeseburger, which had onion rings on the burger with barbecue sauce.
So it was like a Western bacon cheap.
Kind of, yes, but it was like $1.19 on the menu or something.
Ooh,
it was on the affordable.
That's
menu.
Attractive.
Oh yeah, you can throw me a couple of those guys.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go. I also had chicken for lunch from a fast food restaurant because Andrew, McDonald's has reintroduced the spicy chicken McNugget.
Oh, all right.
You know me.
I know that. You like McNuggets and you like a treat. Spicy's a treat. Yeah.
Spicy's a little bit of a treat. Man, they're good.
What sauce do you do with the spicy nuggets?
I still like a sweet and sour sauce.
Okay.
Because I like to sweet and sour sauce my fries as well.
Oh, yeah. McDonald's sweet and sour sauce. Though, McDonald's sweet and sour sauce is like Taco Bell mild sauce. It's only good with the thing that, like Taco Bell mild sauce is only good on Taco Bell. I tried on other things. Every once in a while, the biggest thing is the that jalapeno sauce they give you with the fried burritos at gas stations. Go ahead and put that on anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Slather that on whatever you got.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't work. It's uncanny valley bullshit. And then the same thing with sweet and sour sauce from McDonald's. I had that. I made some chicken the other night. Threw some of that on there. Nuh-uh.
No, it doesn't do anything. No. Like, yeah, it only works with the McDonald's flavor profile.
Yeah.
You know, so got some spicy nuggets. Also got spicy McChicken.
Ooh, okay.
The only thing that could improve the McChicken sandwich, perhaps our greatest chicken sandwich, is to have that filet be spicy.
Did you dip the spicy McChicken in the sweet and sour sauce?
No. I have before put a dollop in the sandwich.
Okay.
You know, but like, I don't know that it doesn't mix well with the mayonnaise. That's an abomination in the face of God.
That is that is the question. That is hubris in liquid form. Is it liquid? Does that count as liquid? Is sauce liquid?
Yeah, I think sauce is. Well, it's not a solid. You know, the 3 stages of.
I guess it is. I guess it is liquid. Well, that sauce. Most sauces are liquid. Okay, just before anybody gets on it. Okay, Worcestershire sauce. Is liquid. All right.
Yeah.
It's kind of gelatinous, but I guess it's liquid. It is liquid.
Yeah, so it's not a gas, not yet. You know, hey.
Yeah. Hey, eventually, you just heard my burp right now.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a solid, so it might live in a sort of Schrodinger's cat space, linear space between solid and liquid. But yeah, I was like spicy. So stupid. I'm like, spicy nuggets are back. I gotta get my hands on some of those.
Yeah.
What do I do if not have the spicy nuggets when they're available?
So you know what? They might go away again.
Might go away. That's a big problem.
Yeah. That's the most brilliant thing fast food restaurants did is they started introducing temporary because people go, why do they make it temporary? Why don't they just have it all the time? The line's out the door because the Enchilito's back. And it's like, because as soon as the Enchilito, the 3rd month the Enchilito is here, nobody's buying the Enchilito anymore. Enchilitos are good as shit, by the way.
Yeah. We all get too comfortable. We forget about the days before, but when we were barren for Enchilitos.
How can I miss you if you won't go away? You know what I mean?
The rolled chicken tacos got to go to a new territory, learn a new hold.
Yeah, live with a new family for a little bit.
Yeah, Taco Bell I feel like was the original instigator of that. I'm sure McDonald's had special menu items but I remember a time when the McRib was a full-time menu item.
Oh shit, I didn't know that because I was going to say in my memory, and I would have guessed that this isn't real because correct because it's just my memory. But the first one I remember is the McRib.
Yeah, but like Taco Bell's rolling that stuff out all the time. I don't know, they just keep it in the back. But like same thing every year when the rolled chicken tacos come out, I know they're taquitos. I don't care for the month that they're available. I'm gonna order rolled chicken tacos every single time I can.
Are they soft?
They're a little bit crunchy.
A little bit crunchy. Okay.
So they're like they feel like taquitos in a toaster oven versus taquitos in a microwave. Like you're making them at home.
I'm down for that.
They're almost flautas, which is
nacho cheese.
Different kind of like taquito.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're delicious. While we're on fast food, I was going to bring this up. Andrew, do you want to guess what fast food company is doing a current promotion with their reward program for a free sandwich month.
So, okay, what does a free sandwich month entail?
The best thing to happen to our calendar: get one free sandwich with purchase every week in April when you sign up for this rewards.
I wonder if the purchase counts as like I bought a small soda pop.
It doesn't seem like it's saying buy one sandwich, get one sandwich.
Okay. Well, I know Burger King's doing that with fries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw that when I was driving up today.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go not Burger King. Let's go Carl's Jr.
No. This is I would say, third tier fast food restaurant.
So we're talking. Oh, so we might be on like our Sonics. So like. We did the tier list. I'm trying to remember what the third tier was. Because I think our tiers might be different. My tiers have changed a little bit.
If I were stuck on a desert island, I would consider eating here.
Arby's.
It is Arby's.
Arby's.
Free
I should have known it was Arby's.
Of course it's Arby's.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's free sandwich month at Arby's. You can get what appears to be a free beef and cheddar with a purchase. As long as you sign up for Arby's rewards.
I feel like when I'm brushing my teeth at night before I go to bed, I can hear Arby's heartbeat under my floorboards.
Yeah, it's
God, I fucking hate Arby's.
the problem is no one should eat that much Arby's.
What, 4 times a month? In 1 month?
Yeah. You should not get that amount of Arby's. That amount of Arby's is bad for you. You know?
Well, yeah, if you shouldn't be on the Arby's reward system.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
If you go to Arby's enough to where you're gaming Arby's for free Arby's, it might be time to look in the mirror.
Yeah, it is tough, man. I mean, even a reward system for like In-N-Out, like one of the good ones. It's like, hey, everybody out there, if you want a weight loss tip, I'll give you all a weight loss tip. Don't join the reward system for a fast food restaurant.
As tempting as it might be.
Yeah.
I think there was one. I think it might have been Subway. So one of them I actually did redeem. I did buy it enough eventually to redeem the reward.
I think you might have done that when we used to go to Subway all the time.
Yeah.
But this is the Arbinator.
Oh,
I've got on the screen.
Arby's new sandwich is so Arby's is the name of this headline.
So the Arbinator, it started in November of 2018. I don't know if it's still on the menu or not. It is thinly sliced roast beef with curly fries, cheddar sauce, Arby's sauce, and horsey sauce on a sesame seed bun.
I'm going to say this without having tried it.
Yeah.
It's too many sauces.
Too many sauces. I was going to say,
that's
you've got 3 sauces.
That is a wet-ass sandwich.
And I've had wet sandwiches from Arby's. It's not good.
No.
And it's because their roast beef sucks. That is dog meat, dog. Like that is, they're trying to hide the fact that this wasn't a cow.
Yeah. You're maybe getting away with 2 sauces on and that's like top bun is one sauce, bottom bun's a different sauce.
We can go 3 if it's ketchup, mustard, mayo. The big 3, the trifecta.
Right? Yeah. If you're running if you're running the triangle offense, then sure you can you can put all that on there.
Yeah, but you can't throw any alternative sauces into a 3-sauce mixture. What are we doing?
You can't ask Steve Kerr to play 40 minutes, you know?
Arby's gets all the the beef from the cows that like at the farm, they don't like test the cow, but they look at it and they go, I don't like the look of that one. Like that one looks
that cow seems sad.
Send it to Arby's.
Yeah. This will probably not surprise you, but at one time during my youth, I stopped at a gas station with my mother,
So far, not surprised.
my dearly departed mother, who I love very much. I was very hungry, so at this gas station,
Also not surprised.
Right, they had hamburgers, but they were like the bag hamburger that's like under the lamp, you know.
Yeah,
And I was
had
like,
a couple
okay,
of those in my day.
yeah,
Been
I
a
was
while,
like,
but I've had a couple of them.
this is the move I'm making, because we're not stopping somewhere else. This is the one stop,
Yeah.
uh got it home, and this is during the time when mad cow is like a very big thing, not just the idea of mad cow, not that there was a particular outbreak, just
the world found out it existed,
just that it existed. Right. So I start eating this gas station hamburger, and I'm like, this hamburger tastes a little weird. What if this is mad cow hamburger?
Yeah.
Like, not, I didn't take the time to go, okay, you got it from a gas station. It's been under a heat lamp for Lord knows how long.
It's probably not even a beef. It's probably a gym mat.
Yeah, it was definitely put together with tumbleweeds from the alley behind the gas station, just pressed with sawdust and cardboard together. No, it must be mad cow.
Yeah.
The only reasonable explanation is that I've just eaten a mad cow burger, and now it's going to eat holes in my brain. I'm going to go insane.
What'd you do?
Ate half of it, threw half of it away.
Felt fine.
felt fine. Later realized the error of my, like 20 minutes later, I was like, man, I wish I would have eaten the rest of that hamburger.
Yeah.
Because like, if I've eaten half of it, like, even if it were mad cow, let's say, I've already eaten half of it. I'm in for a penny and for a pound at this point.
It is now a shit sandwich. Like,
I
might as well. It's not going to be a ham sandwich if you only eat half of it.
Yeah. So, that was a bummer day. Should have went with the jalapeno corn dogs instead, but
if corn dogs were an option, you go corn dog. That's been fried.
Yeah, there's not that survives the nuclear apocalypse.
Yeah. There's no mad corn dog. There is
corn dogs never steered me wrong.
It's the silent killer though, because it's eventual cancer and
it's playing the long con. It's not interested in making headlines.
Yeah, you don't get any alternative diseases.
Yeah, it's like the below line at the Oscars. Like, you're gonna win costume design every single year, but nobody cares. That part's not making TV.
Yeah, it's not even gonna make it on the broadcast.
Yeah, Mad Cow's best picture. It's like we were talking about whenever COVID first started. I remember before they locked everything down, you and I were talking about, like, people are dying from this thing. It's pretty terrible. It has the potential to be very terrible, but the problem is it's not like an extreme or like quote unquote sexy disease. Like, it's not Ebola. Ebola like is so incredibly rare that it's almost impossible to get it. But it's like, it's crazy if you do get it. You could tell the symptoms to a layman, and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds fucking terrible. You bleed out of your eyes and all this shit. It looks like a movie. It's like a movie disease, You know
what's interesting is, like, if the amount of people who died from COVID, right?
Yeah.
If that same amount of people had their dicks fall off, which is objectively, some tough guys are like, oh, I'd rather die. Shut up, dude. No, you wouldn't.
Sure.
It is not as bad as dying. But if the same number of people who died from COVID had their dicks fall off, we are quarantined, dog. Like, nobody's leaving. I'm not even looking outside my apartment.
Yeah, everybody's putting a mask on.
Yeah.
So that was, I remember, like, talking about, we were like, it's just not grabbing the headlines. It's but if it were like, you could be walking down the street and you explode.
Yeah.
Then people might start to take it a little bit more seriously.
You're just as dead.
Yeah. It's and objectively probably better.
Yeah.
Just exploding seems like way less terrible than how you die from COVID.
Yeah, dying from COVID does not seem fun. No. But speaking of dying.
Yeah, way to transition king.
The juice has never been loose, ladies and never. God damn it!
Oh,
The juice has never been more loose, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, that's
O.J. Simpson died today.
Orenthal James Simpson died today. I got the news while I was walking on the treadmill this morning, and I was like, "Oh, that's a strange." Like, I never considered OJ dying.
Yeah.
I just,
Well,
like I'm sure eventually. I was like, obviously, eventually he would. I just never thought about the or how it would be reported. It was like OJ Simpson dead at 78, I think.
yeah.
And I was just like, oh, well, that took me for a loop.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because he was like, he would post. I don't know if you ever saw like his tweets. I followed OJ on Twitter. And he would just post like videos about the Bills. Like, hey, hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, everybody, it's the Juice.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking about the Buffalo Bills is they should run the ball more because if I don't know if you remember, I ran for 3,200 yards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would do that all the time, and then at one point, somebody reported that O.J. Simpson was in hospice with cancer, and he posts a video in his truck with his golf hat on, and he's like, hospice? You talk about hospice? No, man, I'm fine. Yeah. Obviously, I'm going through some stuff right now, but I'm fine, and my family's with me, and I'd like to thank everybody for their well wishes. And the next time, like, I think it was February 11th, he posted, like, I'd like to thank everybody for all the nice things they're saying. I'm okay. I'm hoping to knock this out pretty soon and stuff like that. And then, no, he freaking... Nope. Orenthal, the bus driving murderer, is no more.
Wrong.
Wrong.
And I was talking to Sarah about it, and it's like the parentheticals for O.J. Simpson are very funny because, I obviously neither one of us were alive. Whenever
76,
OJ,
by the way,
or 76, yeah. Whenever OJ was in his prime, but like when you look at the superlatives for OJ Simpson, he's an insane football player. Like,
yeah,
he was so good at football.
Yeah, he was very, very good.
He was so famous outside of football. Like, he was in the Naked Gun movies and like in I think the Fantastic Voyage, maybe. He was in movies. He was in TV shows.
I think he was in a police academy too, wasn't he?
I don't know. Might have been. He won the Heisman. He had an awesome nickname. The Juice is a very cool nickname. And his offensive line was called the Electric Company because they make the juice run. Like, the height of 70s and 80s cool. But all the parentheticals for O.J. Simpson now that he's dead are O.J. Simpson, supposed murderer / football player, dead at 76. Like, he can never shake the first part of that sentence ever again.
Yeah. Okay. So I do not believe he was in Police Academy, but yeah, because he fucking killed 2 people. Like,
no, I'm aware.
He almost definitely murdered 2 people in cold blood, almost cut their heads off, and then lived a very bizarre life after getting away with killing 2 people. He wrote a book called If I Did It and told the story and said that Ron Goldman got into a stupid little karate stance and he stabbed him to death.
So today I decided to watch what maybe one of the greatest documentaries ever made, obviously, but like maybe the best documentary I've ever seen, called OJ Made in America.
Yeah, so good.
So good. It's like 5 parts. So I watched from the trial onward, and it's like every time I watch it, I'm just floored by the things that are said in this documentary. And like how famous O.J. Simpson is, and how sure every single person is that O.J. murdered Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman.
Yeah,
even his agent is like, we were getting drunk one night, O.J. was getting high, and I was like, what really happened? And he's like, well, like I would have went over there or whatever. And he's like, yeah, he killed her for sure.
Yeah,
and that's his agent. That's his friend.
Hey, both of their blood was in his sink.
Yeah.
They found both of their blood in OJ's sink, all over OJ's car.
Yeah. From a trail of blood from where they were murdered to OJ's house. And it was just like,
There's blood all over his socks, all over his clothes. They find the gloves. God damn it!
I implore people who haven't watched it or don't know a lot about the case, go watch this documentary, because you've got like wild characters. It's got all of this intrigue, and then
Kato Kalin.
Yeah, and the defense being like, or not, the prosecution being like, there's no way that we lose this case. And then the defense being like, but what if a racist cop put the glove there? And that's it. And then
the whole jury was like, yep.
Yeah, definitely could have done that, because
it was in post Rodney King, really racially charged Los Angeles. Yeah. And it was a really weird time in, like, it was a time in American racial history. I was 3 or 4, so sure. I can't really say that I lived there. But from what I understand, it was a time in American racial history, especially in like LA and stuff like that, that's kind of similar to certain things that we're experiencing nowadays. Yeah. There's a lot of racial tension in certain ways.
Fuck the Police is a 5-year-old song whenever O.J. Simpson is being tried for murder. Yeah. You know, like, that sentiment exists. And guess what? That sentiment is also good. Like, the cops who beat Rodney King deserve to go to prison, and it's a shame.
Well, I'd be on board with fuck those police.
Yeah, like, it's a shame that they weren't. It's a travesty of justice that they weren't. However, that doesn't not convicting O.J. Simpson doesn't make those cops go to prison. O.J. Simpson definitely killed those 2 people, and and that's the whole crux of the trial, is the defense. Because the defense's whole job is to create reasonable doubt. The reasonable doubt doesn't have to be based on things that are true. It doesn't have to be based in fact. They don't have to prove anything. They just have to go, well, is it possible?
Yeah. And DNA is relatively new at the time. And so
and the cops fucked up when they were collecting the DNA
over and over and over and over and over.
The guy who put the blood in his pocket and then took it to the crime scene. And they're like, is that normally what you do? And he goes, well, no. And they're like, well, why'd you do it then? And he's like, I don't know. Good. Fantastic.
Was it OJ, or was it another case where a guy took blood home with him?
I think that was also an OJ situation.
It was like, you know, the whole chain of custody of the blood and everything was completely ruined. So I understand how OJ got off, right? And I'm just going to get out ahead of it, Dusty. There's no better time to do it. My Comedy Hall of Fame for this week is Chris Rock's OJ bit. It cannot be beaten. No. It is one of the greatest stand-up bits of all time. It's almost worth losing Nicole Brown Simpson to have this bit in my life. I'm just kidding. But it is. So for those of you who haven't heard Chris Rock's OJ Simpson.
I'm sorry. Did you not see my text today at 11:39 p.m. at 12:39 p.m.
Today?
Today.
I'm looking for it.
I sent you a text at 10:30 that said, "Gotta talk about OJ." I thought you were doing a bit for a second.
I stole it. Oh, listen, you got sniped, son. Well, I was thinking about it on my way here, and I was thinking there was a chance you were going to do that.
Yeah.
So, it's cool. That's perfect. We co-nominate the O.J. Simpson bit.
It's going in the Hall of Fame. Just for everybody listening, at 10:32 this morning, I texted Andrew, "Got to talk about O.J. tonight." Andrew texted back, 100%. Then at 12:30, I texted him, "I shall be nominating the Chris Rock O.J. bit for the Comedy Hall of Fame tonight." Didn't hear anything back.
Nope. I was very busy today.
Yes,
very busy.
Which is fine. But that's very funny. Of course, it's the OJ bit.
It has to be. Yeah. It's one of the greatest stand-up bits of all time. It's about dude who croaked today. By the way, we recorded this on Thursday, so it's coming out Sunday, Thursday the 11th.
It's got all the poignant information you need wrapped up in a comedy bit. Like, it's so succinct in understanding what the trial's about. If O.J. Simpson weren't famous, he would be Orenthal, the bus driving murderer.
Yeah, if O.J. drove a bus.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest lines in history.
I was thinking about it in the shower today because I saw O.J. died before I got ready for work, and I was thinking about that bit and just like if you make 3 million, she takes half. That's she take 1.5. That's okay. You ain't starving. But if you make 30,000, she take 15.
She might have to die.
She might have to die.
Yeah. The line after that, I'm not moving back into my mama's house because you're not in love anymore. It's very funny.
So the whole bit, Chris Rock, one of the mechanisms of comedy that he uses frequently is repetition. It's very common in the black rooms in comedy, at the Apollo. And you get the crowd riled up, you get them going, you get them whoo 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 doing that, and then you repeat a joke over and over and over again.
Repeat the tag.
And Chris Rock's one on this one was, now I ain't saying he should have killed her, but I understand.
Yeah, and it also comes from like black churches, like that's where you get it from. Because exactly. There's a lot of repetition in the sermons using the same exact mechanism, except it's, on the third day he rose, for instance. And it's like, you go a whole block of text and then boom, on the third day he rose. And you keep going back to that to tell the crowd, oh, now's the time to cheer. It's how I used to write essays in middle school and high school. You just keep reiterating your main point at the end of whatever next paragraph you're doing, It's and it's perfect. And hearing him explain it, it makes perfect sense. And when you listen to his comedy, it has that rhythm. Like
he's like he's waking up in your house, driving your car, fucking your wife. I'm not saying he should have killed her, but I understand.
Yeah, imagine you're O.J. Simpson in this. So, yeah, I was just flabbergasted, watching today. I sent you a text. One of the defense attorneys for OJ, there's a whole part of the documentary where they talk about OJ Simpson was very famous. He went to USC. He was not active as an African-American athlete during like the civil rights movement and like promoting those sort of things. He was just OJ. He was like, I'm not black, I'm not white, I'm OJ. So sort of Republicans also wear sneakers from Michael Jordan, but before that, it was the same sort of vibe. So OJ lived in a rich part of LA, so he hung out with a lot of white people, and they were going to tour his house where they found the glove and everything with the jury. And the defense attorney, Marcia Clark, was like, they only need to see where they found the glove, where they found the blood, where the Bronco was. Why are we taking them into the house? There's no reason for them to go to the house. And so Judge Ito allows it. They go in the house and they have replaced all of OJ's pictures of him and his white friends with OJ with any black person he knows.
Because they were able to finagle an almost entirely black jury. Not entirely black, but almost entirely black jury. So they were just trying to present OJ as another one of them who have been
wrongly
persecuted.
Yeah.
When that stuff 100% happened, very unlikely that it happened in the O.J. Simpson case.
Right. And the defense attorney's like, this is insane. This is not representative of who O.J. is, first of all. And second of all, you've tampered with the house, which is involved in a murder investigation.
Yeah.
And the guy they're interviewing in the O.J. Simpson documentary is like, his lawyer admitted that they did that, and then goes, if we had an all Latino jury, OJ would have been in a picture wearing a sombrero. There would have been a piñata at the top of the stairs. There would have been a mariachi band at the door. It's like we would have done anything we needed to present him to whatever jury we had as being a sympathetic figure. And this guy's like proud of it, and he's laughing about it, and he thinks like they pulled something off.
Was it F. Lee Bailey? I'm trying to remember who said that.
No, it was I can't remember. F. Lee Bailey didn't say that, but F. Lee Bailey was essentially like, it doesn't matter if he's guilty. My job is to convince the jury that he's not guilty. Like, I don't care.
Or that they can't prove that he's guilty.
Or that they can't prove that he is guilty. Yeah.
But that's the whole thing, that they were just like, even the lawyers were always just like, I don't know.
Yeah. You tell me.
Could prove that he did, and I'll admit that he did.
Well, and then like even the coverage of it at the time, the prosecution brings on an African American lawyer to their side, like, and it's clearly so that they have a guy on their side to present the story, so it's not just two white attorneys, right?
That's
But
Darden, right?
yeah,
What's
Darden,
his first name? I can't
Chris,
remember his first name. Is it Chris Darden?
yeah, Chris Darden. But in the papers, they've got excerpts of it being like black added to O.J. Simpson trial. Look, Jesus Christ, dude, this is 1994.
we were a little harsher back then.
Yeah, it was just like, I can't believe that made the paper, and nobody, not black guy, not black attorney, just black. There was a black
guy would have been funny. Black guy added
yeah,
to O.J. Simpson
that's what it
prosecution.
might as well have been, But
Yeah.
he's the guy who decided that Johnny Cochran tricked into doing having OJ put the glove on, essentially.
And F. Lee Bailey too, because F. Lee Bailey was like, if you don't do it, he's like, if you don't have him put those gloves on, you have the balls of a field mouse or something like that.
And he's like, we will. If you don't do it, we will do it. And it's fascinating. It's a fascinating snapshot of like how the justice system works and like what the strategies are of all of this. Like every 3 or 4 years, I could watch that whole thing again and just be blown away.
Yeah, it's kind of like The Staircase for me. Did you watch The Staircase?
I never watched The Staircase. I heard a lot about it.
The Staircase is super fascinating because I still don't know if the guy did it or not. But watching them, you basically follow a guy who's been accused of killing his wife, and she was found at the bottom of the stairs with her head bashed in, basically. And it follows the defense. It follows them trying to find evidence, trying to do discovery and all these things, and then making their case for his innocence. And it's very interesting to watch that process where they're breaking apart the prosecution story, and they're like testing things, and they're watching video of like blood splatter testing. And like they're watching the guy do blood spatter testing, trying to prove that the blood spatter on the wall lines up with what would have happened had he killed her. And the guy's like doing these different motions with his hand and like with paint, and he's trying to find the blood splatter, the perfect blood splat. And when he gets it, you see him celebrate because he finally got the correct blood splatter that he needed to prosecute. And they showed that video in court, and we're like, "Is that guy fair and balanced?"
Yeah,
because he's celebrating when he finds the one that's gonna prosecute, and then they're like breaking down his arm motions and saying that he's like that he's forcing it and stuff. Very interesting. I really enjoyed it. He was like, it's an author accused of killing his wife. He was in a gay affair with a man, and he previously had somebody else close to him had died in the same exact way at the bottom of the stairs, like earlier in his life, like another girlfriend or like a friend of the family or something like that. They got all the way to like maybe an owl attacked her.
Right.
So like it's a crazy. I'd suggest it if you.
Also, the Jinx, the Robert Durst documentary. That
one I haven't seen, but I heard about the end.
Yeah. There's also a movie that came out last year that was nominated for Best Picture called Anatomy of a Fall, which is a fictionalized movie, but it takes place in France, and it's kind of a courtroom drama about whether or not this woman killed her husband. And the way that they depict the French legal system is crazy. It's essentially like just guys yelling at each other all the time, and they're like in a big
drinking espresso and screaming at each other.
Yeah, and they're kind of in a big like round, like a concert, and there's all the magistrates and then the people watching, and they don't have to wait. They just cross-examine, the lawyers cross-examine each other like at the same time. And call bullshit on it like at the same time.
In French accents.
Yeah. No, I say no. Now go away.
They're both spitting at each other for like 3 minutes apiece.
That's a really good movie, which also deals with sort of the did they or didn't they kind of thing. So I thought This is because the most interesting, not the most interesting, one of the most interesting parts is after the trial's all done and they do the civil trial. Now OJ's lost the civil trial, so he owes the Goldmans like $33 million. Like the fact that OJ thought that he was just going to go back to his regular life, and it's like the whole social pariah aspect of OJ's life after he is not found guilty of the murders, is like nobody wants anything to do with him because everybody's like, hey, that guy's a murderer.
Well, it's an interesting thing though, because there were some people who still were like, oh my god, it's OJ, I want to hang out with him. Like he had groupies, he had all these things, and it's like, even somebody who's like, yeah, he did it.
If
it's very interesting.
How would you? Yeah.
Well, and it's very interesting to think about, like he was acquitted. Like it's in principle, in my heart, he killed those two people, right? So like, but we have a justice system that do I only adhere to the guidelines of the justice system if I agree with it or not? You know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing. I think OJ did it. I think he murdered two people. I think he like really bad, gross murdered two people, and he deserved to be ostracized, right? But there's a part in me when he gets acquitted that sees him go out into the real world and is like, kind of feels bad that he can't live a normal life ever again. You know what I mean?
And it's the rest of his life is defined by this thing that he says he didn't do, but then it's like he writes the "If I Did It" book, which no one made him do that. Like that's
he had no other way of making money though, because nobody would hire him.
So yeah, he loses all of his endorsements and all of these things. So but the only fame he can parlay now is the fact that everyone thinks he's a murderer. And if you lean into that, then that feels super gross. And it's like, well, how much of it is a fiction then?
How about that weird, horrible prank show he had?
Yeah, Juiced. Which was like shopped around for a long time, where he's pulling, it's like a punked style show, but one of the main pranks is just, hey, that's OJ Simpson.
Yeah, and he's selling oranges on the side of the road, and he's like, get it, it's fucking, I'm OJ.
Yeah. And then there's like him with a fake knife, like stabbing people and stuff, like
selling a Bronco, right? Selling a white Bronco.
Yeah, selling a white Bronco. It's super interesting, but it made me think, like, I'm trying to bridge a gap here to the next subject. Let's see. You want to see if I can make the jump?
I appreciate a segue.
It's a study in a man's perception of himself and how the reality of that situation is perceived by others, not unlike our friend Chick Magnet Punk. Andrew, we have to talk about it. Do you see the segue?
Okay.
You see what I did?
Okay, so let me. Can I do like a minute breakdown?
Yeah, I'd love.
You tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your analysis.
Okay. Should we go 1 minute or should we go 2 minutes? Let's go 1 minute.
I'd say, let's go 1 minute, and I won't cut you off until 90 seconds, but I'll tell you if you go over a minute, I'll let you know.
Okay.
So ready, go.
Okay, so there's this guy named CM Punk. He's kind of a dick. He's straight edge. He doesn't drink or do drugs, and he's better than you. That's his gimmick. He's a wrestler. He was a wrestler in the Indies for a while. He was a wrestler in WWE. He came up with the Undertaker and all them shits. Like when they were a little bit older, he got there, and then he retired. He hated WWE. He did this podcast because he hated WWE. He got sued. He got his pants sued off for the podcast that he was on because he hated WWE. He left wrestling for a while. He comes back to wrestling with AEW, which is a new upstart company that is trying to fight WWE, but sucks for the most part. And he was like trying to lead a new thing in AEW, and he keeps getting in fights. He's fighting everybody. He's like Russell Crowe in the back. So like he's beating the shit out of everybody in the back stage. He gets into fights with two of the EVPs who are also wrestlers who are terrible. That blows off. He gets off TV. He comes back. he gets in a fight with Jungle Boy, who is Perry. We'll talk about it. An actor's son, Luke Perry's son. He's a little guy, and he's got long hair. He looks like Mytika from Jungle to Jungle. And CM Punk fights him. Goes on a podcast because he signed with WWE again because he got fired from the other place or quit, however it works. And he went on a podcast, was like, hey, that other place sucks. This is what happened in the fight. And then the new place that he was at that he got fired from was like, we're going to release video because we have video of this happening. And they released video, and it looks a lot like what he said he did. And then everybody was like,
minute and a half.
God damn it.
So
I stuck too long on his early career, I think.
A couple of things to fill in the gap.
Luke Perry's son.
Yes.
Yeah.
The podcast that he did when he left WWE was with a friend of his at the time, Colt Cabana, his best friend. They got sued by WWE for slander. They won that case. But in the process of winning that case, him and Colt Cabana are no longer friends. They are hated enemies, which is sort of a ongoing thing for CM Punk, if you pay attention.
Yeah, he's a habitual bridge burner.
Yes. He also fought in the UFC 2 times.
I forgot about that.
Trained with the Gracies. Got his ass whooped by a guy who barely fights MMA.
He got his ass whooped by a guy who is more MMA journalist than MMA fighter,
and like embarrassingly so. Where that guy was around.
The guy was like had him mounted and was taunting him.
Yeah. So. But that doesn't mean that CM Punk's not trained and that CM Punk couldn't kick my ass as a guy who doesn't know anything about MMA.
He would definitely beat me up.
Yes.
I'm cooler than him, though.
The impetus of this is last week, CM Punk went on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, and Ariel Helwani asked him directly about a bunch of AEW questions. And he, I don't think he buried AEW necessarily. He was like, I'm glad they exist. I have friends over there. It's just not a business in the way that I understand the wrestling business. Tony Khan is a nice guy, but he is not really a boss. And then they asked him about his backstage altercation with Luke Perry's son, Jack Perry, for those who need to know. And he basically explained, like, me and him got into an argument, and then we had a little fight. And then it got broken up. And then I said I quit and I wrestled a match for them. And then I left. And now I work for WWE. But the rumor mill is that AEW was very upset. Tony Khan, the head of AEW in particular, was upset about all the things CM Punk said about his company. So they were like, fine, we're going to release the footage. And I had heard everything. I had heard everything from Jack Perry kicks CM Punk's ass in this video footage to CM Punk tries to throw punches, but they look terrible, and Jack Perry avoids it, and that CM Punk's a liar. All of this stuff. And last night, true to their word, they do show the footage. And to me, this footage is a big nothing. It's a big nothing burger.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody was acting like, sorry, my cat sabotaged our recording. We had to come back, guys, just so you guys know. But everybody was acting like there's people who are looking at this recording acting like Phil Brooks hit him in the head with a sledgehammer. And they're looking at every little movement. They're like, see, he punched him in the face, right? They're seeing whatever they want to see in this. They're saying that he sucker punched. For those of you out here who didn't see the video that got released, essentially, CM Punk walks up to Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy is looking at CM Punk. They're talking. Jungle Boy keeps flipping his hair because he's got long hair. CM Punk, out of nowhere, seemingly, physically at least, pushes Jungle Boy aggressively in the upper chest.
Yeah.
And then kind of goes after him again, grabs him, and puts him in kind of an arm in guillotine, basically.
Yeah, a front face lock if you're a wrestling person.
Yeah,
And then Samoa Joe comes over and grabs Jungle Boy out of CM Punk's grasp, and they break him up, and they push Punk to one side, they push Jungle Boy to the other side. Punk seems to say something to somebody off screen and lunge in their direction. Which I presume is Tony Khan, based on the previous information that had been out about this thing, and then he walks off.
Yeah.
And I will say this: I just finished watching The Last Dance. Again, the Chicago Bulls documentary, and there's a whole part in there about Michael Jordan punching Steve Kerr in the face during a practice because he didn't think Steve Kerr was playing hard enough in the practice. That is not cool.
We'll both. Thank you. We'll both admit, dick thing to do. Not cool.
I also think that CM Punk pushing Jungle Boy when seemingly there was no threat of physical violence from Jungle Boy. You can't hear the audio. So I can't hear if Jungle Boy's like, well, I'm about to fuck you up. And then Punk pushed him. But CM Punk is clearly the aggressor in this situation. And that is uncool. Regardless of all of the things that Punk has said about what was happening in AEW and like the slander campaign that he thought was happening to him and all of these things, you can't push your coworkers or put them in front face locks. Just can't do it. You're not justified in your actions when you're not defending yourself. But at the same time, I don't know if it's old wrestling mentality or if it's just like you hear about a lot of this stuff in sports. Like it didn't. I guess I can't say, but it was just like it was exactly what was described in the Ariel Helwani interview, essentially. Mm-hmm. So like, not that that's nothing, you know, but like compared to the last big thing I could think of, which was Conor McGregor throwing a dolly at a bus to try to get at Khabib, that is way worse on the scale of the like people were seriously injured in that, and neither situation is cool. I'm not saying it's a heel program. It's been a heel program all along. There are two heels.
That's the thing. It's the craziest people in this are the ones saying Punk's the shit. He's awesome. This made me like him more. And the ones that are saying CM Punk's a monster or a baby and he sucker punched Jungle Boy and he tried to kill the boss. Because Tony Khan, the boss, billionaire son, did a little like vignette after it was like a video. It wasn't a press conference. He kind of released a statement on video about things that had happened. And he literally said that he feared for his life when CM Punk was doing what CM Punk did. Now we see the video and he just kind of aggressively stepped towards Tony Khan, seemingly to yell in his face. Yeah. He wasn't going to beat up Tony Khan. And there's a lot of people on there being like, he said he stepped towards Tony. That was clearly a lunge. He was lunging at Tony. And it's like a bunch of AEW pin tweet fucking weirdos out there are just completely twisting this thing because they really want this to matter. And it's not going to matter.
Well, and it's like you said, you were about to make the Zapruder film comparison, but it's like analyzing like back and to the left. You know, it's back and to the left. Over and over again. Where did the shot come from? And it's like, again, cannot stress this enough. That is not a cool thing to do. You shouldn't do that at work. Clearly, but if the thing they were trying to disprove was what CM Punk was saying in the Ariel Helwani interview, I don't see anything wildly different than what he said happened. Like, he presents himself very calmly, like as though he's a rational man in a rational situation, when clearly he wasn't a rational man in a rational situation. But he still told the essentially what I believe to be the truth of the situation. I didn't want this guy to be close to me. I pushed him away. Then I put him in a guillotine choke. Then Samoa Joe pulled me off, and that was it. That's what the video shows to me. And again, not that justifies it or makes it cool. Still shouldn't have done it.
CM Punk, a baby. He's probably a baby, and he complains about everything. And I wouldn't want to work with him. And I've been very vocal on this podcast Twitter, in conversation with you, that I think CM Punk stinks as a person. Right, for the most part, he stinks. I think I like him more than a lot of the people on the other side of this.
Sure,
but I think he stinks as a person. But there's almost nothing more annoying in wrestling that I've ever encountered in my life than these AEW obsessed turds.
Well, and I will defend AEW in so much as like I don't think it's terrible. The ratings are not great. The thing that they're trying to accomplish, they are accomplishing because they wanted to have really great matches that people praise and get 5 stars in the Observer. Like they are achieving that goal.
Yeah,
What
but I
would
also think they wanted. I think Tony wanted to be a bigger competitor to WWE than he is
yeah,
right
if
now.
if they didn't have a literal billionaire's money to depend on to have a bottomless floor, I think they might be in more trouble because the way that they do wrestling is not necessarily the way that people do it in North America that draws money. That's the critique, and that's mostly what CM Punk was saying in his Ariel Helwani interview. Is like they are not interested in making money the way I am interested in making money, and like that doesn't seem to be an unfair criticism in my mind.
No, no, and they're anybody listening to that CM Punk thing, if they're familiar with that man, knows that there's probably some exaggeration, there's probably some dramatization, there's
Yeah,
probably Punk loves to inflate his own ego in a lot of different ways. He loves to talk about how smart he is in the business. He loves to talk about how many people look up to him. He loves to talk about how he changed the business. He loves to do all these things. And he also loves to, you can tell when he tells stories, and we talked about that documentary about his life when
yeah,
we did it. You can tell when he tells stories that he tells stories like the kid who is a, if you've ever met a pathological liar in your life,
yeah,
he tells stories like that, where it's like, I got kicked out when I was 16 because I was smarter than my mom. And
right,
it's like, that's probably not true, dude. You probably weren't
yeah,
smarter than your mom. I had a guy tell me one time that he was training to become a teacher, but he quit because he was smarter than everybody who was training him.
yeah. That's
Oh, really? Word?
well, and he's also like if you listen to the Colt Cabana interview, which you can, it's still up on YouTube. If you listen to that Colt Cabana interview, the energy of that interview is the same as the energy in the Ariel Helwani interview. It's just directed the other way. Like we also talked about when we covered the CM Punk documentary, he is the kind of person that it seems he needs that negativity or that chip on his shoulder to fuel him to the type of success that he wants. Like
Yeah.
he has to find an adversary or an antagonist, something that he needs to fight against, and like that can make you a very tough person to be around, and can also make what would otherwise seem like small things into very big things because not like none of his beefs sound to me particularly crazy whenever he talks about them. Like the thing with Hangman Page, which we won't get into, or the thing with the Young Bucks, or even this thing with Jungle Boy. Like none of that stuff seems crazy enough to jeopardize your job, but to him those are they like he needs those things. Those things fuel him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like hate success. Like he he needs an antagonist, and when he doesn't have one, he finds one, and that's why generally he doesn't last very long in these places that he goes to.
Is there anything more obnoxious than somebody who needs an antagonist? Like it's the same thing with Michael Jordan. They're always like, the guy sneezed like 12 degrees away from sneezing towards Michael Jordan, and he took that personally, and that's why
Right.
he shot 45 points last night. It's like, dude, he wouldn't have scored 45 points if that guy didn't sneeze. Like that's what kind of a fucking
Yeah.
weirdo baby is this guy?
To him, he wouldn't have. Like to be great, and I was going to make the Michael Jordan comparison. Like to be great or to be pushed to beyond the level of your ability to this supposed greatness. Some people need that. Like, there's a very famous story of Michael Jordan where it was like some rookie on some team one night scored like 40 on Michael, and Michael had a bad game. He just didn't have a really good game, and they lost that game. And after the game, the guy came over to Michael and was like, "Hey, good game, Mike." And Michael Jordan on the bus ride home was like, tomorrow I'm going to put up what that guy made in the whole game in the first half. And he just went out and like embarrassed this dude, scored like 45 points or 48 points or something.
Yeah.
Come to find out years later, that's not a real story. That guy never said that to Michael Jordan. He made it up in his own head to motivate him to go out there and like purposefully like destroy this guy, because he needs that, you know. It's the same as like we've talked about before, like the idea of the genius of an artist forgiving the assholeness of an artist, where it's like, oh, they needed this to be able to create this great art, so we have to forgive the fact that because otherwise we wouldn't have the great art if we didn't have the guy who was being an asshole about it.
Yeah.
And I read a whole book about this called Burn It Down, which is about like Hollywood and how there's all of this like negative energy towards these great creators that make these things, and everybody's like, well, that's just, how it goes. If you want the genius, it's like, no, that like, one, that can't be true. You could make great art without being an asshole. And two, if you have to be an asshole to make great art, then you're just you're a bad person. Like,
yeah, it's weird to have need an adversary, because that means that you're either insecure or envious or both. And like, so that idea that you need to have an enemy, or you need people to not believe in you, or you need to have extra motivation to do it, it just doesn't like equate with me. Maybe because I don't relate to the greatness, you know.
I don't aspire to the greatness any
of that bullshit.
But in the same way,
yeah, it's like, I feel like you don't need to be doubted to be motivated. Like, that people say haters are your motivators. It's like, why aren't you motivated without haters? Like, why do you need people to tell you can't do something in order to do it?
Yeah, or like doing it for spite. Like Michael Jordan's always the kid who got cut from his high school basketball team. Like he'll always tell that story, and that's what, in his mind, led him to work harder and be better and be the champion and find the extra gear, or whatever the case may be, that he equates to his all-time greatness. And CM Punk is always that guy on the indies that they said looked like shit and would never make it to WWE and couldn't be a star, and got picked on by Shawn Michaels and Triple H at the beginning of his career and all this. And he's never not being that guy. Even when he tries, that guy still exists and will come out at whatever point, and that's what leads to these situations. That's why you don't see Michael Jordan hanging out with a bunch of his friends, because like he has greatness, but he also has loneliness. Like he doesn't have friends. That's in The Last Dance. He's like, did I sacrifice friendship for greatness? Possibly, but I'm great. So who cares? Yeah. Like, it's wild.
I feel like I don't know. I've never been a Michael Jordan level of anything, but I feel like you can probably have both. I don't know.
Maybe they lose.
I'm trying to think.
If he's any nicer to Steve Kerr, maybe they don't win Game 6 and he doesn't win a championship.
I'm trying to think who has that level of greatness. If there's anybody who has that level of greatness but is a nice guy, or like known as a guy who has a lot of friends, because like, I don't know what Gretzky's like socially.
Yeah.
He seems like kind of a subdued guy, but I've never heard stories of him being a psychopath or like a jerk. Yeah. But I don't know. So I can't really say that. Tiger Woods, psychopath.
Yep.
A-Rod, psychopath. Barry Bonds, weirdo. Nobody liked him. Tom Brady's a little social, though. He's
also a psychopath.
He's also a psychopath, but it seems like people... But he's definitely not like a weird... he's a weird guy, but you know what I mean. He's not like Peyton a psycho Manning, like them.
Peyton Manning seems like a nice person, aside from the obvious things in his past, But
I mean, like putting, aside from putting his balls on a trainer's head in college.
Yes, I will.
His locker room balls.
I can't forgive or forget those things, but now, it's like Peyton Manning seems like an affable person, but maybe he's just friends with his brother. I don't know. Like,
yeah, that's an interesting thing. But Peyton lost a lot. Peyton only won. Did he only have? He had 2 Super Bowls,
He
right?
won 2. Yeah.
Okay, I think two's nice. You know,
Yeah.
Jeter is like social, but like because he liked to party and stuff, and he had friends, but he's a very private, kind of interesting guy.
It is also a level of fame where I don't think you also have a lot of friends, because like a level of fame like that I can't understand, and there's no like, how do you get that famous and then also believe that everyone's intentions are good that are around you? You know, like I think you almost have to become like a sheltered sort of introverted person, because there are so many people around you, and like so many people that want to be near you, but they want to be near Derek Jeter #2, Mr. October, you know, like that guy.
Mr. November.
Or Mr. November.
October's Reggie Jackson.
Right.
Get it right.
Mr. November.
Also a weirdo, Reggie Jackson, for the record.
Right. Like, you know, so how do you know? And I've heard a lot of famous sports stars talk about that, where it's like everybody in your circle also depends on you for their living. So how do you gauge who's really there for you or who's not?
You know who this goes back to?
Who's that?
O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson.
So he was one of the greatest running backs of all time. He's on all-century teams. He's all that. Everybody around him depended on him. Guess what he did? He fucking killed him.
Yeah, he went crazy. You know,
he went crazy. Yeah. So that's an interesting thought. I mean, Chappelle seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulders in terms of his personal life. He's got he's been married for a while. Who knows how that's going? But it seems like it's a good marriage. He's got kids. He lives. Maybe the key is doing what Chappelle did. Just move to a little town in Ohio, little hippie town.
Yeah. You got to be somewhere where nobody knows who you are.
Emerge to do greatness.
Yeah.
And go back into your shanties, you know, into your mansion amongst the shanties.
Yeah. Or be pretty good. You know, I bet Edgar Martinez has a bunch of friends. Man, I love Edgar Martinez. Like, you know, he's a great baseball player. He's not the greatest baseball player, but I bet he has friends.
Yeah, he seems like a humble, fun guy.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about him. I used to love watching him hit, you know.
Yeah. Other than there's Edgar Martinez Way in Seattle, so.
How about John Jones?
Oh, this is your boy. How about this? We had my guy. Now it's now we're talking about another goat, but also person who can't get out of his own way.
Yeah,
tough.
Did you hear the recent? Yeah, so John Jones, we did a 3-hour retrospective that I'm not going to go back and edit this into. He got, I don't know if they actually arrested him, but he got a criminal complaint against him because he was apparently, the story of the woman who is accusing him is that she went to go take his pee for a drug test, because the UFC fighters can get randomly drug tested wherever they are at any time. They have to tell the UFC where they are at all times. The woman shows up, asks John Jones to pee. John Jones is intoxicated, says, "Why do you guys always come so fucking early? It's like 4 p.m. And said something like, you know what happens to people who show up to my house unannounced? They die." And like made the two people very uncomfortable. And it was I can't remember. Took the woman's phone at one point and started recording her, and then put the phone in his pocket, and then like it was just a whole ordeal.
Yeah.
And then he was like, he posted a video on his Instagram that said that this woman is lying. Here's a video of her leaving, and it's him high-fiving them and hugging as they leave and being super nice. And he said, "I was frustrated when they came, which led to me using profanity, but I didn't do a lot of the things that she accused me of doing." I can't remember the whole thing.
Right.
I've just been a very busy week, but John probably did that, man. He probably did all that.
Yeah, John Jones doesn't have a great track record when he says, "I didn't do the thing that they accused me of," whenever it comes out that he totally did the thing they accused him of. I definitely didn't flee the scene of this hit and run with this pregnant woman. And then they're like, "Well, we got video footage of you fleeing the scene of this hit and run with this pregnant woman." Oh,
there's no video of that. But yes, things like that happen a lot. Yes.
Yeah. He's
I wish there was video of that.
I don't understand. And again, maybe it goes back to never understanding. Like, if you're John Jones and your reputation as John Jones precedes you, and you're trying to clean it up, and you've been out of trouble, like how can you not see what a terrible move yelling at anybody would be? Like, yeah, whether fair or not, I don't know that in the public eye, much like O.J. Simpson, that John Jones gets the benefit of the doubt at this point from most people.
Mm-mm.
Like,
not even from me.
Right, and you
love
him.
I love that motherfucker. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love that heathen thug. Like, I'm not saying that because he's a black man. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a lot of white thugs out there. John Jones is a thug.
Yeah. Well, whenever I read that CM Punk got in a fight backstage at All In with Jungle Boy, I was like, God damn it, man. Could you not see how this would be bad for you? Like, in the moment, or not? You know, I don't know. Unless it's just like you can't help it, you know. But you know who never gets in trouble? Michael Jordan. He's, aside from gambling, you never hear Michael Jordan out doing wild shit because he knows he can't. I guess he's a prisoner of his own house, but he can't. He's Michael Jordan. That's the price you pay.
He's probably one of them Diddy parties.
I just, you know, where we've all facets of celebrity. That's why I just want to be the drummer in the backup band of some person that's famous. I don't want any fame because it seems like it doesn't do anything good for you, you know, other than, I guess, the riches and etc.
There's other than the riches and the fame and the
yeah, but I can make pretty good money as the drummer of, you know, Ariana Grande's band or something, and then still go to the mall. Like that's the level of fame I'm interested in. Like,
give me it all, dog. I want to go crazy. I want to go to Epstein's Island and not partake.
Just one episode, I beg you. not to bring up Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't want to. Listen, I'll tell on him. Okay? Yeah. I just want to be invited.
Look,
I just want to reach the status at which I'm invited to Epstein's Island.
No. I want
the Diddy parties.
I like to go. I just want to be able to. My peak level of fame is go on Celebrity Jeopardy, be able to go to the mall and buy anything I want. Like, I think Adam Sandler is doing it right. The Sandman. There's a rich famous guy that doesn't seem to have any problems, has friends, like goes to Denny's still. Sandman's got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, except for stop fucking dressing like that.
No, it's perfect.
Stop it.
You're a person who would, you'd lose all, your behind the music would be, you lost all your money buying very expensive clothes they had to fly in, you know. Or
that I got bored of and couldn't resell because nobody wears my size.
Yeah, you had 3 Italian tailors on retainer, and you couldn't pay them all in the end.
He doesn't have to spend money to not look like he's wearing a costume everywhere he goes. Like, you are dressing like that on purpose. That's not just like, I'm out in some basketball shorts that fit me normally. Sorry, you know. Yeah. He is wearing a costume.
Yeah, but I bet it's to not get recognized. You know, that's
only he in the entire world dresses like that. That's the best way for him to get recognized. He can dress, he can wear clothes like a normal human being, and people aren't going to notice that's Adam Sandler. As soon as you see a white Jewish guy in basketball shorts that reach the top of his socks,
orange basketball shorts,
and a snowboarding hoodie for some reason, you know, hey, that's the Sandman. Why is the Sandman in Bakersfield?
Right. And why is he ordering chicken fried steak with biscuits?
What's that? Oh, yeah. Hey, can you have...
I like a chicken fried steak with biscuits.
This chicken fried steak is a little small. No, this chicken fry is the size of my pinky.
Yeah. I say salt is better. I say pepper is better.
You know what I watched the other day? Fucking Matt Foley, motivational speaker.
Yeah. The Christina Applegate one, where it's
Yeah, it is so good. Like,
yeah,
that's one of those things in comedy that it is. It's kind of ruined by how quotable it is.
yeah,
I'm sick of people saying you're going to be living in a van down by the river.
yeah.
Because the unfunnies really love that line, and they continuously and they drive it into the ground.
But there are so many lines in that sketch that are funnier than "You'll be living in a van down by the river."
Oh man, when Phil Hartman, he goes, actually, we encourage his writing, and Chris Farley goes, "Dad, I wish you would just shut your big yapper."
I like a writer, eh? Hey, Dad, I don't see too good. Is that Bill Shakespeare over there?
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
And
the
hey, Matt, how can we get back on the right track?
I got all my stuff in the van. I'll just live in the basement, and it'll be you and me, buddy, everywhere you go. There's you, there's Matt. Here's you, there, and he just flops through the
Through
table.
the table. Yeah.
It's incredible. Like, it is a full-bodied, like all things that Chris Farley did. Like, it is a full-bodied performance in every way. Like, he was going. It's already funny. He was going to will it up the mountain to funny, like whether or not you wanted it. Like,
He's one of the maybe 10 or 15 SNL cast members ever that you could write a like a whatever sketch and
yeah,
just tell him to go have fun.
yeah,
Like Will Ferrell is one of
right.
those people. Kate McKinnon.
Just be reading a newspaper.
Yeah, it's
Go.
literally
And
like
it's, yeah,
Chevy Chase could do that.
yeah,
Like the Norm Macdonald was talking to Chevy Chase on his podcast, and this was later in Norm's life when Norm had that show.
yeah.
And he goes, how about this? How about you make this funny? And he just handed Chevy Chase a tissue, and Chevy grabs it and puts it up to his nose. And he goes, and he blows his nose and goes, "Help me!" Like the way, but I can't make that funny.
Right.
But Chevy Chase can make that funny. Chevy Chase can make anything funny, and like, so Chevy, John Belushi,
Yeah.
Farley, Sandler, McKinnon, Farrell,
Bill Hader.
Hader. Yeah, I'll give you that one. I thought Taron Killam was like that, but I don't think he had the career for me to put in this list.
Yeah.
I thought Jay Farrow was like that, and he didn't have the career for me to put him in this list either. So
Yeah. It didn't fully translate the same way. But yeah,
Gilda Radner.
Yeah. Well, and I read an old SNL book where they were talking about originally the whole thing was they don't want to be hacks. They don't want to repeat gags, and they don't want to repeat characters. Like, every week they want to write 90 fresh minutes of comedy that's hilarious. And I think they made it like 4 shows. And I was like, well, do we want to bring back that character Gilda did did pretty good. Like, the ambition of those guys was so lofty at the time, because they were like they're like the outlaws of sketch comedy at that point. No one had really done that on that scale.
They sure are still the outlaws, huh, Dusty?
Yeah,
they're just always crossing boundaries and taking risks.
Yeah,
being anti-establishment, huh, Dusty?
Yep. That's but I mean,
real counterculture on that Saturday Night Live still, huh?
Yeah, there's still like, there's still sketches on SNL that I think are funny. And I think Michael Che and Colin Jost do a good job on Weekend Update. I listened to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about, like, there's no SNL characters now that make movies. Like, in the 90s and in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, like, if a character got over enough on SNL, they made a movie about that character, Yeah. And, like, the fact they never made a Stefan movie, unless Bill Hader didn't want to make it, proves that there's no longer a market for that particular thing. Because, like,
there's another character that was the only other one is like David S. Pumpkins, and that would be the worst movie ever.
Yeah, they made a MacGruber movie, a whole movie based on.
I've heard that's very funny.
It is very funny. I liked
I
it.
didn't watch the MacGruber
I
movie, but
liked it
I've heard
quite a
it's
bit.
very funny.
You know, but they made a Ladies Man movie. Ladies Man is funny, but like now they don't have.
Is it movie funny?
The character. See, that's the problem. Character's funny. Character's funny, like a 5-minute movie, but I don't need to know more about the Ladies Man. I don't need. I don't need to know more about what he's up to in his off time. You know.
He says Cavassier funny.
Yeah,
It's
he
funny.
talks about fish sandwiches. Good enough. You know. One thing
They made a Coneheads movie. It's
yeah,
Pat.
it's Pat. Like it's they wanted to make a who was it? Dieter, the Mike Myers German character.
Yeah.
They wanted to make a movie of him, and Mike Myers was like, I don't think we can make that. I can't make that work. You know,
Not for a whole movie. No.
like they made a Night at the Roxbury movie. Who wants to know more about the Night at the Roxbury, guys? Even though I like that movie.
When he breaks the window, I'll never forget that joke.
We forgot to mention, I'm amazed, the greatest nemesis to O.J. Simpson more than the prosecution of his trial, Norm Macdonald. If you have time, there are supercuts on YouTube of Norm Macdonald's O.J. Simpson jokes during the trial. Incredible. Like,
it's official. Murder is now legal in the state of California.
I just wanted to look up an article to see if I could find a couple, and there's one where it's like, Prince Charles put a new book out this week, and the title of it is, "Of course OJ did it. Come on."
Yeah. The best one is obviously the one from the ESPYs, where he's like, Norm Macdonald hosts the ESPYs, and Jim, is it Jim? It's not Jim Brown. Who was it that won the first defensive player to win the Heisman?
Was it Charles Woodson?
Charles Woodson. So he's like, Charles Woodson's here, everybody. Charles Woodson, the first defensive player to ever win the Heisman Trophy. They can never take that away from you. Well, unless you kill your wife and a waiter, but
that's a response from Norm Macdonald on Twitter to OJ. Something OJ posted. And he goes, "Hey OJ, it's Norm. Listen, be careful about the videos you put out there. I recognize the golf course behind your house. I know that exact street and could easily print your address. Of course I never would, but others would. Be careful, Juice." It's like the jokes are so well crafted, and I saw an interview with Conan where he talked to the guy who was like the writer that collaborated with Norm about it, and they were just like, how far left can we go before we bring it right back to before we swing it to OJ, so the crowd never sees it coming as an OJ joke.
Did you watch that whole interview? I can't remember the writer's name.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. I don't know if I watched the whole one.
Did you see when Jeffrey Epstein came up at the beginning?
No.
The guy's like, he brings up the Jeff Epstein case, Conan does, and the guy's like, Jeff Epstein? And he's like, yeah. He's like, the financier? And the guy's like, yeah. And he's like, what happened? And he's like, he had an island and there was like a lot of like human trafficking and stuff. He's like, no, not the Jeff Epstein I know. And he was like doing this the whole, it was so good. Like you got to watch it. But then today somebody posted a picture of that guy and was like, OJ Simpson, the Hall of Fame running back.
You're like, that's a evergreen bit too. Is just not knowing the horrendous thing that someone who's famous did. Like Chris Benoit. The Chris Benoit I know would never do such a thing.
Yeah, the Rabid Wolverine. He's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was that? you said he did what? Yeah. So I highly recommend that the Norm Supercut and the interview with that writer.
Well, I can't remember what the joke was when he was like, "Hey, watch out! That's my lucky stabbing hat."
Oh yeah, that was the one that Conan loved the most. Was not my lucky stabbing hat.
Yeah,
because it's
and those of you who don't know, Norm got fired from SNL in part. And mostly because he would not stop making jokes about O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Because O.J. was friends with the head of NBC. So they literally asked him to stop making jokes about O.J., and he wouldn't stop making jokes about O.J. So,
and for cursing on the air.
Really?
Yeah, he cursed on the air, and that's I think one of the reasons he got fired.
Well, all I've ever heard is the OJ stuff.
Yeah, I know the OJ thing was like a big part of it, but I also believe that he got stabbed or not stabbed, fired. I'm trying to find the joke. So, and he got fired for cursing on the air. I think he dropped an F-bomb on the air.
I'm not familiar with that at all.
They cut it from the show. So,
yeah.
But anyway,
I'm gonna play the Lucky Stabbing Hat joke.
Yeah,
we're gonna go ahead and do that. I love Norm Macdonald, and we should all hear Norm Macdonald more often. If it's too quiet, shove it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Testimony during the final week provided some spellbinding moments. In a brilliant move during closing arguments, Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, hey, easy with that. That's my Lucky Stabbing hat.
Hey, easy with that.
Yeah, that's an incredible joke.
Norm's just the best. He's one of the funniest human beings ever lived.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So, you wanna do some trivia?
Let's do some trivia and get out of here. Talked enough about the insanity of fame and celebrity this week.
Let's go home, as they say.
Yeah.
In the Bias. So it's the Dozen Daily Trivia. There are 9 questions. The first 3 are always sports, and the next are about general American culture. Let's start with NFL. With a son currently in the NFL, this 4 times Pro Bowl defensive back played from 2003 to 2013 and led the NFL in interceptions with the Patriots in 2006 and the Eagles in 2009.
I do not know who this person is.
Me neither. Let's go with...
I know Joey Porter's kid is in the NFL, but I think he plays linebacker. Oh, there are 2 Patrick Surtains.
How the fuck do you spell?
You don't know Patrick Surtain?
No.
Come on,
no,
man.
I don't. Is that an S? Surtain?
Yeah, Patrick Surtain with an S.
Surtain, isn't that the bad guy from Dude, Where's My Car?
You know what? I haven't watched Dude, Where's My Car.
I don't know. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Not him. It took me a long time to find him. Not him. You never saw Dude, Where's My Car?
I did. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I think the bad guy's name is Zoltan. Zoltan.
Okay. Are you sure it's not Zohan? Don't mess with him?
No, it's Zoltan.
Okay.
Shut up. All right. Milton Bradley was an all-star and led the American League in on-base percentage during his loan with his AOS team in 2008. I'm guessing that means loan season.
Probably. Isn't Milton Bradley the name of the company that makes board games?
Yes. It's very interesting that this guy's name is Milton Bradley. I know he played for the Rangers, but this was his one season, so we'll see if I'm correct. I was correct.
Look at you.
Look at that. Very good at this.
Yeah.
Soccer. Taking place in 2021, England lost to this country at the 2020 European Cup final in penalties at Wembley Stadium. Get it right, Dusty. Germany.
Spain.
All right, we're going Spain. It's not Spain.
Oh, shit.
If it's Germany, I'm shutting the studio down.
It's over.
Cars. Invista, Encore, and Enclave are brands of models produced by what automobile brand? I believe.
That's a Buick.
This is Hyundai. Oh, it is Buick.
Yeah.
It is Buick.
That won't matter.
Thank you for saying that.
That won't matter when you get hit by a Buick.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how hard it's blowing. Or was it? It doesn't matter how the wind is blowing. It matters what the wind is blowing.
Yes.
Cereal. The Quaker mascot is on the box for this line of cold cereal that comes in varieties such as brown sugar, cinnamon, and honey nut.
I don't eat cereal.
This is...
I know Quaker Oats is a thing, but I didn't know they had like
I think this is oats.
some sub brands. You know,
It's not oats. Kai sent us her results to this and said that she's mad that she got this one wrong. Quaker, Quaker Quakes, Quaker brown sugar, honey nut. There's honey nut Cheerios. I know there's that.
yeah, but that's
Let's go.
bee.
Let's go. Huh?
The bee is the mascot for the Cheerios.
Dude, I'm picking it.
He cares about my heart health.
Got it wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Fuck that bee.
Fuck that bee, dog. Celebrity mashup. That is Robert Pattinson and what's her name?
Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
This is a Twilight ass fucking mashup, dude.
Sometimes I try to think of like who was the significant other of this person if I can only recognize one of the people.
Starring Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, this dramedy series, Shrinking, debuted on what streaming platform in 2023?
That is Apple TV Plus or Apple TV. I don't know.
If we had both options, I was going to be angry. Movies set in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Bill Murray plays a cynical weatherman who gets caught in a time loop in this 1993 film. Dusty?
That is Groundhog's Day.
That is Groundhog Day.
I got you, babe.
They say I love no pay the rent. What is it? Ben Ryerson?
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Ben Ryerson. He punches him in the face.
Yeah. With husband, I feel like it's not Ben. It's something Ryerson though. Is it Ben?
Possibly. I'll look it up. You read that.
With husband and wife Wynn Butler and Regine Chasang as the lead vocalist, this Canadian rock band won the Grammy for Album of the Year in 2011 for The Suburbs.
That is the Arcade Fire.
Yuck. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to double dip.
Okay.
Do you want to try cereal or do you want me to try Germany?
Let's go with Germany. Ned Ryerson.
Ned Ryerson. Okay, yeah. See, I was close, but I felt I was feeling weird. It was not Germany, for the record.
Oh, good.
It's not Germany.
That guy's he's played by Steven Tobolowsky, who's not a guy you would know, but if you saw his face, you would know him. That guy's been in a ton of stuff. Yeah,
he's the shit.
He's very funny.
He's great in that movie. It was Italy.
Oh man,
those motherfuckers. Cereal is oatmeal squares.
Who?
What?
Yeah. Why would you be mad? I never know what oatmeal squares are.
Asante Samuel.
Of course,
is the guy.
Asante, not Patrick Surtain.
It's always Asante Samuel.
Yeah. How could it not be Asante Samuel?
Movie to movie. Okay, we start at Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and we need to get to Inside Out. So this is basically 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. We got to find somebody who's in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and then find another movie that they're in that is related to somebody who's in. Anyway, so you'll get it. So let's see. Can we see who's in Inside Out first?
Yes, because I know Amy Poehler's in it, but I don't know anybody else that's in it. I think.
Oh, Poehler's kind of another person that you can just let go.
Yeah.
On SNL. Phyllis Smith from The Office, Bill Hader, Lewis Black, Mindy Kaling, Richard Kind, Caitlin Diaz, Diane Lane.
Okay.
Might have a Diane Lane connection. I don't know anything she's in, but I know she's in some shit.
Bobby Moynihan.
Paula Poundstone.
Tracy Morgan.
Creep, right?
Huh? What?
Paul Poundstone Creep? She Creep. Wasn't she a Creep? I think she ended up being a Creep.
I have no idea.
I gotta look it up.
Okay.
Yep. Or at least an accused creep.
Oh,
Paul
good.
Poundstone.
Tracy Morgan. Also another guy you can put in anything. Tracy Morgan. Funny and everything.
He's gonna get you pregnant.
Yeah. Okay. So
Flea.
Oh, you know
Flea.
what?
Flea was in
The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski, but he's also in that Crank movie.
Yeah.
I bet Crank and Ghost Protocol have some shit going on with each other.
I've already got it.
Okay.
So we go back to.
We're not using Flea.
We are not using Flea. No.
Damn it, dude. I want to use Flea.
We're gonna go Tom Cruise. Tommy Cruise. Tropic Thunder. Bill Hader. Inside Out.
Swinging from the knees.
Big dick player. So,
yeah, look at us, dude.
2. What's their move?
Tom Cruise, The Outsiders, Diane Lane to Inside Out. I knew there was something
You were
fucking
right
lame.
with Diane Lane.
I knew.
By the way, not a watch along. We gotta watch Tropic Thunder. I gotta rewatch it, and we gotta.
Yeah,
talk about
dude,
it.
it's been long enough.
Yeah.
It's been long enough for me where it's like it's a full reset.
Yeah.
I was driving down the street the other day and it was cold outside. And I thought to myself, who left the fridge open?
Okay, Flaming Dragon, fuck face.
Fuck face.
Why don't you step back from the phone and literally fuck your own face? And it cuts to the guy on the other end of the phone. And he's holding the phone like far away from him.
Yeah, that guy was great. This is red. We are Red Dragon.
Yeah, he's actually pulled back, and now he's able to access the emotionality of the character to greater effect.
I've got two funny stories about that movie. I walked into the wall I was super stoned when I went to go watch it with our friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I walked forehead first into the wall of the movie theater when I was trying to walk to the end of the aisle.
Nice.
And it's one of those like painted black cement walls. I had a giant mouse on my forehead.
This makes sense for you. All unintended head trauma.
Dude, I was just looking down and slammed my head into the wall, and I didn't realize that was Tom Cruise until like one of the last scenes of the movie.
I mean, he really. Have you heard the story where he's like, "I'll be in your movie, but I want to play a guy with giant hands," and they were like, "Okay." So
it's the coolest thing Tom Cruise has ever done. Like,
it's really like that's almost to me the comeback. Like, after the Oprah jumping on the couch and the Katie Holmes thing and the "you're being glib, Matt," all of that shit. Do you even know what antidepressants do? What does he say?
Well, that's just how far celebrity has come has gone into the fucking garbage. Back in the day, it was like a big deal because Tom Cruise jumped on Oprah's couch because he was excited because he loved his wife.
Well, it was also because Tom Cruise never showed that amount of emotionality. Like, it was creepy. Like, it just, to use a parlance of our time that I think is still in vogue, it gave everybody the ick because it was like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like seeing that. It's the same thing that happened to Howard Dean. Bah!
The Howard Dean thing's worse.
ruined his presidential aspirations. Just that one noise. Ruined it for everyone. Well, that coupled with the Chappelle show perfectly.
Oh yeah,
lambasted.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go to the White House. I'm gonna chop that motherfucking desk in half. Yeah. I'm gonna kick that motherfucking door down. Like, there was also I don't know if you remember this or have ever heard of it, but like Al Gore, whenever he was running for president, everybody was like, we don't know that we like Al Gore because like he doesn't seem like a cool dude or like a dude that shows any emotion or whatever. So like on the podium during one of his things, he like went to kiss his wife, but like weirdly made out with her in front of all these people. And people were like, ugh. I don't need to see all that, you know.
I remember
Plus, this guy cares about the earth too much. Fuck this guy.
So the Bush versus Gore was in like 2000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was 10, and my sister was in college, and I went to a college party as a 10-year-old. There wasn't alcohol there. My sister was a dweeb, but she's awesome. She was just a dork. I sat at a table and talked politics with these fucking college kids for hours.
I'm sure you weren't exhausting.
I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
So I called Joe Lieberman Joe Leprechaun. I know I did that.
Yeah.
And I did I
Got
did
him.
an Al Gore impression like a lot.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want to punch myself in the face.
That's okay. I was like, I'd vote for Ralph Nader if I could vote, because I was, because I was like,
fine.
yeah,
Throw away your vote.
yeah. It was because he was the candidate that Rage Against the Machine endorsed, and so I was like, of course, I follow in their footsteps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think that I'll vote for a third party. Fine. Throw your vote away. Ross Perot punches through his hat. Great comedy.
We didn't talk about this. I gotta go. My living room is still completely rearranged because my place flooded. The carpet guys refused to move any furniture, so I have to move all my furniture myself. I had to take my fucking I have a bookshelf that I had to unscrew from the wall and take down and take every book off. They're all sitting right next to me. If you want to see that Andrew reads,
you're very smart. You read a lot.
Yeah, I'm very learned.
Yeah.
And then they
So many
didn't
books.
replace my carpet. They didn't replace my carpet even after I told them that CDC and FEMA guidelines necessitate that you replace carpet if it's been wet for 24 to 48 hours, no matter if it's clean or dirty.
Are you still that 10-year-old? You're still inside.
The guy denied my request for rent restitution. And so I said, then I'd like to speak to the supervisor. And he goes, oh, if you want to do it in writing, I'm sure they'll let you do it or do a request in writing. He does not want me to do it in writing. Yeah. I can tell you that.
Good luck, nerd.
How much time you got, buddy? Because I'm going to filibuster you until you let me get half off my rent this month. I had to sleep. Me and my cat had to sleep with two very loud fans on for fucking a week, and it stunk.
They're gonna throw your restitution letter in the straight up trash, bro.
Bro, it's gonna be. I'm gonna send them another one and another one and another one.
We at the movie gallery where I used to work. I'll make this quick. There was a customer complaint hotline, right? But my boss told me one time that phone number goes to nothing. It goes to it goes to an answering machine, but no one ever checks that answering machine. And so whenever people would get very angry, by the way, at service that was not worth calling this customer complaint line. I was a good employee. Yeah. They'd be like, well, I'm going to call your office. And I'd just be like, go ahead, dude.
Oh, please don't call the customer complaint line. So whatever you do, don't call that number.
Yeah, it's going to be forwarded to the voicemail of my boss, who will never listen to it. I assure you. He could not care less. Let me ask you this. Did we get your video money? All that matters.
Call my ass. Yeah. I am going to specifically request a response from them.
Yeah.
I want an itemized response because I've got points. Oh boy, do I have points.
What you should do, and I'm serious, or what I would suggest you do, is go to the post office and pay for what's it called? It's a letter, like you pay a little bit extra and you have to sign for it. And then they send you the receipt that it's been signed for.
Verified mail?
Verified
mail. It's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do that through the bank a bunch.
Yeah. Just so you get the slip back that shows they got it. Because then you got their ass,
They can't hit me with I don't got it.
Yeah.
No, you got it, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean they still have it, but that means at one point they got it. So,
I'll probably just submit it as a maintenance request in my app too at the same time.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, you know what needs to be fixed? Me paying full rent in April.
You got to hit them from all angles. You're going old media and new media.
Yeah, I thought my cat did it.
Yeah.
I spent $120 cleaning up this fucking water.
I hired a skywriter,
Yeah.
Go every possible scenario that you can do. Like whenever Bart and Lisa are trying to convince Krusty to meet his dad.
Yeah.
Full assault. Well, I'll let you get back to that. Thank you to everybody who listens. We appreciate it. We hope that this one was funny, even though we talked about a lot of things that aren't necessarily funny. We think that we've got a fun slant on it, at least. But thank you for listening. Check this out on YouTube. Put it on in the background while you're at work. Just pump them numbers up.
Play it loud.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We'll be back next week, given that Andrew doesn't float away on a dinghy in his apartment, because we are the Snark Marks podcast, and we always get verified mail.
That is true. Wah, wah, wah.